In this lecture, we will learn about brute force attacks.
Hi, I am Imran Afzal. I make learning technology easy, even for beginners in IT. So I have over 25 years of experience in Linux administration, Windows, virtualization, and many more. I have taught millions of students worldwide.
A brute force attack means trying many different passwords again and again to open a computer, website, or account until the right one works. The hacker does not know the password, but keeps trying many possible passwords, one after the other, like 1234, 12345, admin123, and so on. It is called brute force because it uses power and speed instead of smart tricks, like kicking a locked door again and again until it opens. Computers can do this very fast, using special scripts, trying thousands of passwords in a short time. There are different types of brute force attacks. The most basic one is called a simple brute force attack, where the hacker tries every possible password, starting from the shortest to the longest. For example, it may try A, then AA, then AAA, and so on. This is very slow, but works if the password is short and simple. Another type is a dictionary attack. In this method, the hacker uses a list of common passwords like 123456, password, admin, or people's names, and checks each one. This type is faster because it only tries passwords that real people often use. Then there is a hybrid attack where the hacker combines both methods. It uses a dictionary list, but also adds numbers or symbols at the end, like admin123 exclamation mark or password 2024. This helps break slightly stronger passwords. Another advanced type is the reverse brute force attack, where the hacker starts with one password, like 123456, and tries that password on many different usernames. For example, trying 123456 for every account on a website to see if anyone is using it. Let's take a simple example. Imagine someone wants to break into a phone by guessing the PIN. The phone uses a 4-digit code. That means there are 10,000 possible combinations from 4 zeros to 9999. A human cannot try all of them manually, but a computer program can try all combinations in seconds if the system does not block repeated attempts. That's how brute force works. It keeps trying until it gets the correct one. In real hacking, brute force attacks are often used on login pages, Wi-Fi networks, or encrypted files. As ethical hackers, we use the same method, but only with permission to check if a system is weak. If we find that a website does not stop after too many wrong password attempts, we report it as a serious risk. This helps the owner fix the problem before a real hacker finds it. To avoid brute force attacks in Python-based systems, we don't use one magic function. Instead, we build rules and limits using simple logic and common Python functions. The main idea is to block or slow down anyone who tries to guess the password too many times. We use functions like time.sleep from the time library, which helps us add a delay after each wrong attempt. This delay makes brute force attacks slower and harder. For example, after 3 wrong password tries, we can make the system wait for 5 seconds using line time.sleep with value 5. This will not stop a real person, but it will slow down a script that tries hundreds of passwords in seconds. Another way is to use a counter variable. We can create a variable like attempts and increase it every time someone enters the wrong password. If attempts become greater than 5, we can block the user or show a message like too many failed attempts. This logic is created using if conditions in Python. So functions like input to take passwords, variables like attempts, conditions using if, and delay all work together to stop brute force attacks in basic Python programs. In web applications, if we're using a web framework like Flask or Django, we can add more features to stop brute force. For example, we can store the number of login tries in the session or database using a variable like failed logins. If it crosses a safe limit, we use the redirect function from Flask to send the user to a warning page. In Django, we can use the HTTP response function to show a too many attempts message after counting tries. So Python helps us stop brute force attacks by combining basic tools like delay, counting with variables, checking with if, and controlling the flow with functions like redirect or HTTP response. These are not special security tools, but they help you build simple protections step by step, especially in ethical hacking practice. So in real ethical hacking using Python, we do not only use basic functions like time.sleep or input. When we want to stop brute force attacks in real systems, we use special libraries that are made for security. One example is a library called Flask Limiter. This library is used in Flask applications. We use a function called limiter.limit from this library to set a rule for login attempts. The parameter we give is like 5 per minute, which means a user can only try to log in 5 times in 1 minute. If the user tries more, the limiter function will block them for some time. This makes brute force very hard. Another example is in Django applications. Django has a system where we can use something called simple rate throttle. This is a class, not a function, but we use it to limit how often someone can send login requests. It watches the IP address and blocks if the user tries too much. In Linux systems, we use a program called fail2ban. This is not a Python program, but it works with Python logs. In Python, we use a function called logger.warning from the logging library to write messages about failed logins. Fail2ban reads those messages and blocks the IP if it sees too many warnings from the same place. Another way to stop brute force is to make passwords very strong. We use a library called bcrypt in Python for this. We use the hash pw function from bcrypt to change a normal password into a special code called a hash. This makes it very hard to guess or break the password. We also use a function called gensalt from bcrypt to add extra random text to the password before hashing it. If a hacker tries brute force on these hashed passwords, it takes a very long time. Another strong library is Argon2, which is also used for password hashing. For stopping bots that do brute force, we use reCAPTCHA. In Python, we use a library called requests and a function called post to send the user's reCAPTCHA answer to Google for checking. If Google says the answer is wrong, then we do not let the login continue. This stops computer scripts from guessing passwords. All these tools help ethical hackers to build systems that are strong and safe from brute force attacks. And all the functions and libraries work like guards that stop too many wrong login tries. So this is a simple explanation of what is brute force attack and how to avoid it using Python tools. See you in the next lecture.
I hope you learned something useful in this video, and I will see you in the next one. But please wait. Don't forget to subscribe.